Okay. Hi, guys, and welcome to the That's Where I'm At podcast. Today I have Mireille. Mireille has been obsessed with anything romantic, like books and movies, all of her life. Divorced by choice and remarried, but almost failed. She is now navigating a blended family life with her soulmate. Having gone through a lot in the love department, she's on a mission to help other women ditch the struggle and have their happily ever after. She holds a certificate in relationship coaching from IAP Career College and is a member of the IAPO International Association of Professional Relationship Coaches. In her spare time, Mireille enjoys mountain biking, date nights, and being a mom. So, welcome. I'm so glad you're here.
Hi, thanks so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here with you.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk, and I will need your services at some point
Awesome.
to make sure because Laura has a pattern. When I look back at my life, I'm like, oh, I have a pattern. There's a pattern.
Awareness is key.
And that's
Is
all,
the
that's
first.
it. And so I'm not ready to go out there yet. So
Fair enough.
so I'm just still doing some healing. I don't know. It's not that I'm scared. I just haven't had the opportunity and I'm not exactly looking. So all those
Yeah.
so tell me how you got into the relationship coaching. It sounds like you had some ups and downs and maybe you decided it was time to help others.
I did. And like when I look back at my life, like I've been a romantic for as long as I can remember, like even
Yeah.
as a kid growing up as a little girl. And like I wasn't a romantic in the sense that I dreamed of like my actual wedding day. Like even
Okay.
as a kid, I was really focused on like how I wanted to feel with my partner. Like that
Hmm.
part was really important to me. Really something like deep, intuitive, this knowing with this other person. I guess the whole idea of it like a soulmate, right? So
Wow. Okay.
my whole life has been kind of really like into that, and like you said in the bio, right, in the
Right.
intro, like reading the books, watching the movies. But it's
Yeah.
funny because I never had kind of like a love life that reflected that like in
Okay.
reality, even though I would daydream about it. Growing up, like I had some relationships, but I wasn't like the girl that was like in the long-term relationships
Oh,
and
okay.
with her high school sweetheart forever or anything
Right.
like that. Like I really struggled. Like I really didn't have kind of like the knowledge and the skills. And fair enough, like most of us don't, I think, like
Right.
unless you have like a really strong role model. And I grew
Yeah.
up like my parents stayed together forever. Like I had good role models, but I don't think it was obvious to me necessarily kind of what the skills were,
Right.
um
Oh no, for
specifically,
sure.
right?
Yeah. I
So
had that too. And my parents were married until my mom passed away and,
oh
54
wow.
years or something. And it's like,
Yeah.
I have no idea how they did it. You know what I mean? Who knows? Like,
Maybe
what
they
was
didn't.
they
Maybe
didn't?
they didn't
Yeah,
consciously
it's
know,
true.
right?
Yeah, it's true. They probably couldn't have told me.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. Yeah. And so then how did you decide that you wanted to help other people, in this, in coaching, helping
Well,
them?
then what happened is as I grew older, eventually I did find, a partner. I got
Yeah.
married. And it was around that time, right, where even though through my dating life, it wasn't like I wasn't kind of finding my vision of what I dreamed of or desired. You see all your friends around you, you reach a certain
Yeah.
age where everyone's getting married. As
Right.
women, you reach a certain
Yes.
age and you're like, everyone's having children now.
Yeah.
So at that time I met my first husband, and I mean he's a great man. I don't have anything,
Yeah.
like I could only say good things about my first husband. And we were married for like 6 years, and together for almost a decade, but it just turned out it wasn't the relationship for me. It wasn't
Yeah.
kind of like I always say, right, my happily ever after.
Right.
And then what happened is that didn't work out. And I did find a partner that kind of met my, well, I shouldn't say kind of, that met my criteria, right?
Yeah.
But I admire you for waiting right now and really working on your healing and everything, because what I tell women all the time is I kind of like jumped in. I really had this
Okay.
idea that I would just find like the perfect person and everything would work out. Like I had this
Right.
like naive rose
Right.
colored glasses idea that you just, you find the right person. And once you find the right person, then everything is easy. Well,
Right.
that didn't really happen for me. I started going back in these patterns, like you were talking
Yeah.
about, right? Like,
Yeah.
this your patterns. And at one point, we hit rock bottom. And that's when I really said to myself, okay, relationships, love is something I value. Things
Yeah.
aren't working out for me. I'm not like intuitively you know, gifted in this department. Like I need to really learn what to do and what the skills are and everything. And as I started applying and getting support for myself in this area, I managed to turn things around like drastically.
Wow.
Ah,
And we see that. And so are you working with women who are coming to you? When do these women come to you? What time of their life are they coming to you?
I have a variety of women.
Okay.
Usually it's like in their 30s, 40s, or 50s.
Okay.
And I work with women right now who are in relationships, they're married. I'm working with women who are dating or even just preparing for the dating stage, right?
Yeah.
So I do have a variety of women. I get a lot
Okay.
of women who tend to be in a should I stay or should I go situation because
Oh,
I've
okay.
made those choices. I've made it in the
Yeah.
first marriage where I had, do I
Yeah.
stay, do I go? I went. And even in my current message, right? When in a marriage, when things were rocking
Yeah.
the relationship, and I was like, no, I want to stay. So I can, I have a perspective on both sides for that.
Okay.
And I
Yeah.
can see it, from the two different perspectives.
Oh, so that's good. So me, we've kind of talked about it. Tell me a little bit of where you're at now with your life and whatnot.
So now I'm very happily married
Awesome. Yay.
to this man. We went through that, that low point, but it
Yeah.
was all part of the journey, right? So
Right.
I wouldn't have it any other way other than I wish I had kind of the skills or the tools to
Right.
shorten that period of time. And it's funny
Yes.
because a lot of times I share with my clients like I'm still doing all this work I teach like to this day.
Yes.
And the beautiful thing, and just going back to this whole idea of
Yeah.
not having to heal perfectly, and it's the same thing with the
Yes.
skills too, and kind of the work I do with women, like the more you do it,
Yeah.
the more you get flexibility and grace. Like even the other day, like
Yeah.
I didn't communicate effectively to my partner, but because we're back in a good space and I can catch myself,
Okay.
it
Yeah.
doesn't matter so much anymore, right? You can get through these things. I always say 9 out of 10. All the skills I teach you, aim for 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be perfect. But just to say, I still work on my emotions every single day. I still work on my codependency because that was me also.
Yeah.
I still work on my communication skills, negotiating, um, and just, yeah, understanding, just keeping the perspective from what men truly desire also in a
Yeah.
relationship and all those things that I teach. And I think just it continues to make my vision for the work I do just even bigger,
Yes.
in terms of helping more women. So
That's really good, because we do have to practice it, right? We have to
yes,
practice what you
yeah,
preach. Well, because you're right. We're not going to be 100%. We're not, but you get into these new habits, right? You're teaching new
yeah,
habits for people, right? Because if we can learn
mm-hmm.
how to be in bad habits and it's not being effective in our relationship, we can learn new habits. And so then I could
Yeah,
see where it would become these new habits so that you can recover faster, right? And that's
mm-hmm.
something that I was just doing therapy and different things like that, and I say to people, oh yeah, this happened, whatever situation is, this happened to me, but I didn't stay there very long. I didn't stay down. I didn't have to go to bed all day and cry about it. I was able to recover faster because I have tools. I can journal about it or do tapping or whatever, and then just
Yeah,
recover faster. So that's the nice thing about having some tools for your toolbox, right? Is
exactly.
having some new habits and recovering faster
Oh
and
yeah,
just
because I was telling a client the other day because sometimes she's hard on herself because she does
oh
let herself go up and down a little bit,
oh
either too much or for too long stretches of time. And she's like,
yeah
oh, I wish I could just be, balanced all the time or
oh
happy all the time. And I was sharing the story about how my husband and I, we go mountain biking with
yeah
this one of the people in the group we go mountain biking with. He's always happy, like
oh
always a little too happy, and people kind of think it's weird a little bit, right? Like
oh okay
it's
yeah
okay to have like
yeah
I'm saying that lovingly there, obviously, but just to say
right
like, kind of normal to have emotions, but like you said, right? It's
yeah
it's being able to get out of it. It's being able to either recover faster or even just not to let it, stop you from doing the things that you
yeah
love to
like
do or going
completely
after your
derail
goals.
you, like
Yeah.
completely derail you, yeah.
Yeah.